Number 6 and 12, represented changed before we are meeting already, so we didn't discuss it, so you can strike it there.
6 and 12.
There was 230 in our building.
But I changed my mind. I went out of the business. 6 and 12. I changed my mind. There'll be no lawsuits. I'll sign a waiver.
You're like, yes, get me
I
out.
said the thing, I was like, that's the best thing that ever happened to me. Have you ever had one? Have you ever dealt with one?
No, and I don't tend to. Yeah, that's right.
Here's the thing that people always say. They don't want to go into the interview. They want to go for something.
No, I have no desire to do that. I have no desire to go in the Airbnb business. Okay. So we were told we were getting rid of all Airbnbs. And he said, okay, well, I'll get a lawyer. And then he's coming back to say, well, maybe not.
Yeah, that's right.
5:31. Y'all ready? Let's go. Welcome, everyone. I'd like to welcome you. We're going to call to order the regular city council meeting for Tuesday, February 10th, 2026 at 5:30 p.m. And if you could, would you stand for invocation, please? Bow with me, please. Heavenly Father, we thank you for this day. We ask that this council uses its discernment and decision-making power to do what's right by our citizens in our city. Lord, we ask that you guide us with your path and help us through all of the difficult decisions we make, and let us know that the people here that support us, we appreciate them being here, Lord. We pray all this in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
United States of America, pledge. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Pledge the Texas flag.
Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Thank you. All right, roll call for the council members. Councilmember Mapes.
Here.
Councilmember Schultz.
Present.
Mayor Pro Tem Mann.
Present.
Councilmember Freeze.
Present.
Councilmember Brennan.
Present.
We have all 5 quorum. Okay. We're going to allow now for citizen visitor comments. Just want to remind you, please shut off your cell phones or silence them if you could, please. And anyone wishing to speak during this session, please give your name and address when you approach the podium. And the comments during this time and the agenda for public hearings and individual consideration are limited to 3 minutes per person. You can go farther if it's necessary, but would rather not. And you cannot share your time with anyone else. Once again, if you'll give your undivided attention to the council members during the discussion, we'll do the same with you when you're speaking. So if we can, we'll get started now. We have some visitor comments. Ms. Reeves, do you want to start?
Your time's already started.
All right, Jacqueline Reeves, 706 East Elm Street. Good? Okay.
Yep.
All right. Sorry, I literally wrote this an hour ago, so sorry, okay. March 25th, 2025. That was the first time I reached out to Jody Holt with my renovation plans for my property located at 800 Northeast Big Bend Trail. Stephen Boyd, who is no longer employed with the city, told me that he didn't understand my floor plan and didn't need to come see it. June 13th, 2025. That is when I reached out to Troy Hill, who is also no longer employed with the city, along with Joe Bowles, for help with my building permits because Allison Couch, who is also no longer employed with the city, was making unreasonable requests for my existing building and proved to not be helpful. June 16th, 2025, that is when Troy sent me an email asking if I would be willing to sell my property to a potential buyer he had. July 22nd, 2025, that is when Gregory Anderson, who was employed for Veritas by Veritas, received my submission for my proposal with my cover letter and floor plans. Gregory and I worked together to finalize a floor plan that met code requirements and took into account occupancy loads for future tenants. The very plan that Allison denied me simply because she wanted to. Today is February 10th, 2026, and guess what? The inspector from Veritas suddenly tells me today that I now need firewalls for a tenant space, the same space that was already taken into account when the plans were submitted on July 22nd. Now I see today that there is an agenda item for a conversion of a single occupant buildings to multiple occupant buildings. It's hard not to feel attacked when all these regulations are oddly specific to my project. Am I the only building in town that converted their space into multiple occupant buildings? I know that I'm not. But again, some of the fire and the life safety items that are being added are the very items that the third-party inspection company and I verified are not required per code, not opinions or guesses, by the code. Some of these new requirements will make it harder for someone new who may find themselves in my position such that they may not have a fighting chance at all. So the questions that people are asking me, who hates me so much here at the city, or who really wants my property, that they're willing to put all these roadblocks in my way? Is it a coincidence that every night last week, I read Romans chapter 14, verse 13? Therefore, let us not pass judgment on one another any longer, but rather decide to never put a stumbling block or hindrance in the way of a brother. I don't know how many of you are aware, but I had a lawyer who has Glen Rose roots, but he currently resides in Houston. He reached out to me last year when everything was going on to help me in any way that he could. He informed me at every point that the city officials who were working here at the time, not anyone current, who were working here, how they failed me legally. I have more than enough documented information to sue the city for all the damage and disruption, both emotional and financial, that I have incurred at this point. I really have nothing stopping me.
Okay. Next, we have the Chamber of Commerce Person of the Year of Glen Rose, Mary Collier.
Hi, Mary Collier, 3134 County Road 304, Rainbow, Texas. This is about a labyrinth for the city of Glen Rose. The labyrinth that I have is given to me by Christina Juriowski, the founder of High Hope Ranch in spring of 2019. I'd like to gift it for use in the parks of the city of Glen Rose as a prayer walk. In light of all the various economic impacts in our community, prayer can definitely be a beautiful catalyst in making decisions, keeping peace with our neighbors, as well as peace in our hearts. The canvas labyrinth is 20 by 30 feet and will be great for outdoors. The design is a Chartres Cathedral 9-circuit labyrinth, which means it has 9 concentric circles to make the pathway. There's no maintenance, and when it begins to deteriorate in any form or fashion, the labyrinth may be disposed. This is a gift to the city of Glen Rose. And you see a copy of the labyrinth that I gave you and the handout.
Thank you, Mary. Okay, and we do have a state representative here. Miss Representative Helen Kerwin.
Good evening, Mayor and council members. I have some good news.
Well, I have better news. You have to give your name and your address before you begin.
Okay, although I think my news are gonna be a lot better than that. Helen Kerwin, I'm your state representative, House District 58. Dear Representative Kerwin, I am pleased to inform you that the following local park grant applications were recommended for funding at the January 22nd, 2026 Texas Parks and Wildlife Commission meeting. Recommended projects must receive final approval by the Texas Parks and Wildlife Commission prior to entering into the agreement You have been approved for the soccer park for $750,000. So congratulations.
Thank you.
And you've got a long time to actually get it accomplished. Okay, and the second good news I have is that TxDOT, Public Transportation Division, administers federal funding programs, including Federal Highway Administration funds relating to TxDOT's bicycle and pedestrian program. These funds are for specific purposes and have separate eligibility and funding requirements. The Public Transportation Division requests applications for specific funding sources through calls for projects. So I called Mayor on this last month and I thought, this could be the door to open a project with a pedestrian walking bridge across the Paluxy River. So I wanted to pass these out, get you all started on it. And if you need help from my office to start working on this, be sure and let me know. But I think that might fit. They want unique call to action items for that. And the third good news is I just drove in from Austin, where my chief and I, Chapa over there, walked over to the Public Utility Commission, a folder this high of all the letters addressing the Encore line. So that is, we talked to the lady there. She said that they are still waiting on the application. I'm feeling really good about this. They are switching their docket number. Not quite sure if that's directly involved or not, but it seems to be things are moving along in another direction. We got some new dates. We have a new window, and when that application comes out, we're going to have to stay on top of it. We got 180 days. So anyway, I'm hoping that's good news. But it's delivered. But y'all keep writing me. I'll keep putting them in the portal. They're still accepting. So better news.
Yeah.
Okay. And again, call me anytime. Reach out. I'm in my office in downtown Cleveland 5 days a week. And here's some more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So good news, you gotta go back to Austin.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank you.
I'll just say quickly that George and I went down for the meeting with the Texas Department of Parks when they offered up this. George did a great job representing Glen Rose, talking to them, and how exciting that is. And now Jim's got a pocket full of money to spend and make that soccer park like it's never been before. So that's really great for our community. All right, we're going to open up the public hearing section of the meeting. And as normal, I would ask one of our staff members. How about you, Veronica?
How about me?
Read item number 1, please.
Public hearing regarding a request for a specific use permit for short-term rental at the property located at 301 Hereford Street, acres 0.230, tract F7-2, abstract A136, Milam County School, LD track F7-2 to operate in an R1 single-family district.
Is there an applicant here?
Yes, right here.
I'm here to represent
Okay.
the owner. Sorry. My name's Michelle. I'm representing Mary. She had a work trip, so anytime something comes up with her Airbnb here that she already has it on 704 Northeast Barnard, I'm her person. So I live in Wiley, which is 2 hours away.
Give me your address.
Her property.
No, your.
My name's Michelle. I'm at 301 North Jackson Avenue in Wiley.
Okay, thank you.
I'm her co-host for her Airbnb here on Barnard. So like I said, if something happens, she calls me and she's out of town, has a work trip or whatever. She lives in the county in Glen Rose. So she does her own. She doesn't hire out for her bookings. She does her own bookings. She's 10 minutes away, so if something ever goes wrong, you know, she can be here. She does her own cleaning, everything for her Airbnb. She is 100% hands-on.
All right.
That it?
Thank you very much. I'm gonna open the public hearing section of this. Do we have some speakers?
Public hearing.
Who? Will you speak?
I'm not as a public, I'm speaking for PNC.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so, we actually reversed some of our agenda items, during the PNC meeting where we looked at, the addition of Article 4.10, short-term rentals, before we addressed, this SUP request. And going through what the commission was looking at for how to move forward with short-term rentals, this one complied. So it was recommended to move forward. It was a 4-0 with one abstention because I'm a hotelier. We don't want to have impropriety with me voting for or against short-term rental items.
Okay, thank you. Any questions for Pam? All right, anyone else like to make a comment? All right, I'm gonna close the public hearing section for this item, and we will have discussion. Council?
What was the use of this house before it came here?
Single-family residential.
But was it a rental?
No, it was not.
Thank you.
The only thing I have, kind of like the last one we talked about, is that that's a very busy street. So what's the parking plan? Because
They have
parking
4
is,
spaces.
and that parking would not be allowed on the street,
Correct.
right? Okay, and that, is that a part of the
It
criteria?
is part of the recommendation.
Okay.
Anything else? Well, you wanna take some action?
I make a motion to grant the SUP for a short-term rental with the with 4 parking spaces for 301 Hereford Street, track F7-2 of abstract 136, Mountain County School Land Survey.
We have
A
a motion.
second.
We have a second from Councilmember Meigs. All in favor? 4, all against? 1 against, it passes. Okay. We'll go to item number 2 now. Veronica?
Public hearing regarding recommendation for clarification on Article 1.01.018 for the effective date of ordinance.
So we've had a lot of confusion on when our ordinances actually go into effect. And so through review of the local government code, we found that as soon as majority of our ordinances that don't require penalties, fines, fees, is passed through city council and goes and signed by the mayor, they become effective. We've had it where it's been kind of nebulous on, are they effective once they get passed? Are they effective once they get published? And so we just wanted to clarify that they're effective once they're passed through city secretary and mayor signature, even if they aren't completely published up on Unicode. When it is otherwise specified in the actual ordinance itself, that will then have to set a date for when it will become effective. And that will take place whenever there is a fine, fee, penalty, some type of a financial arrangement that needs to be made in the ordinance. We would then set a date, a future date, 30 days after council passes for that to go into effect. So it's just a cleanup so that we can actually know when we're supposed to hold somebody accountable to what timeframes.
Any questions for the representative? All right.
This change of ordinance would only take place for new applicants, new
Correct.
applications.
Everything that's already
that's
in
the
play
works
stays the same. This is only for new things.
Thank you. Okay, I'm gonna open public hearing on this item. Any public comments? Anyone like to step up to the podium? All right, close the public hearing. Discussion, council?
Would it be better to have just a flat 30 days or 60 days from the date that it was passed? Or something like that, so you don't, if we pass something on a Tuesday and then it becomes effective on Wednesday.
You could do that. I know that in the past, there have been times that we had to do something more emergency-like, and that 30-day flat would create a problem. As an example, we needed to approve a schedule of use change related to the Expo Center when all that land was going through the sales. And so we literally held a meeting 5 minutes before your meeting, made it approved, went into effect so that the sale of that land could go through. I'm not opposed to either way. One of the things that David and I have been chatting about is it's been nebulous and we want to make it not nebulous. So whichever you guys prefer.
I just wondered procedurally if we could get it kind of all done in a very shortened timeframes versus handling the exceptions in a one-off. Like in your example, we would waive that requirement and say this ordinance becomes effective immediately or next day, or however we wanted to kind of structure the language.
So we need to structure the language that would say whether you picked 15 or 30 or whatever number of days, unless it's otherwise stated. Instead of everything becomes effective immediately unless it's otherwise stated. We could make that change. And David, are you okay with that?
I would suggest, what are the legalities of that?
Based on what I read through local government code, it stated that, let's see here.
I'd be curious to hear what.
Approval by mayor and related conditions and resolution. The mayor does not sign an ordinance or resolution before the 4th day after the date it is placed in the secretary's office and does not return the ordinance or resolution under subsection C. The ordinance or resolution takes effect as provided by law. If the mayor returns an ordinance or resolution to the governing body with a statement of objections before the 4th day after the date of the ordinance or resolution is placed in the secretary's office, the governing body shall, on the return, reconsider the vote by which the ordinance or resolution was adopted. If a majority of the total number of members of the governing body, excluding the mayor, approve the ordinance or resolution on reconsideration and enter the votes in the journal of the governing body proceedings, the ordinance or resolution may take effect. So in essence,
In that scenario.
Yeah,
if
the
you had-
timeframe.
If you had something rejected, then you'd have to come back and
That's
handle
right.
it again. So you'd need an extra time.
okay, so you want to move to 30 days?
Maybe we should.
I like it taking effect upon signature, and the only reason is that 4-day period I've never sent one back, may do it just for fun.
May not be you.
Yeah, you're right, it won't be soon, but, I don't know why we have to go 30 days. It creates a tickler file too. To keep up with.
Right.
On the existing, it references code 2007, section 10.
Right.
Is that still the most current code?
Yes. For this item.
16 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I asked.
Yeah, that's one of the, so,
Whatever you want, guys.
Have we reached out to Stan, see if he has an opinion?
No, I don't believe so.
we did not.
I would suggest. Kind of cover us, so.
Yeah, I would table it for, try to reach out to Stan.
That's not.
Okay, we'll table this item till
I
March.
I reached out to TML,
Yeah,
but-
that's probably better.
but let's clarify.
Okay.
I think we just were looking for some consistency,
Okay.
and so
Veronica,
whatever that
will you
is, we don't
note
care.
that? We'll put it on the agenda for March and then we'll send this to Stan
Okay.
for review.
1 second. Were y'all just here for that?
Yeah.
It's not rude. I know y'all are from Wiley. It's not rude to go home unless y'all want to keep watching. No, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you very
I'm
much.
trying not to be late.
No, y'all, I know y'all got a long drive.
Safe travels.
That's very good of you, Stuart.
I try to be good.
Just being aware, just being aware. Okay, we'll table that.
Okay.
If I could get a member of staff, how about you, Veronica, on item 3?
Public hearing regarding recommendations for addition of Article 4.10 short-term rental to include information about the current SUP process as well as density and zoning regulations.
Okay, do we have an applicant? Go ahead, Pam.
So we have always handled short-term rental as just kind of a schedule of use item. And because of the amount of short-term rentals coming through, we kind of started taking a look at what are some of the other cities doing? Where do we need to look at this? Our current count on single-family home dwellings in Glen Rose that we are aware of is 1,135. And we have 2 different counts on the number of short-term rentals that are operating in the city. I had counted up about 65. David and Tracy have a program that they were using that pulled up 51. Regardless, it puts us at or slightly above 51 or 5% of our single-family home inventory into short-term rentals. And so it has been a topic amongst city council many times, and we have talked about it at PNC that one of the things we don't have is a way to say no. And so this kind of brought us to bringing an idea to you. So a couple of the basic things in this ordinance that has nothing to do with anything else is 1, everybody that has a short-term rental is grandfathered. I don't want anybody to think that they're going to be told they can't. If they already have it, it's grandfathered. Because our SUP process is when they sell the property, the new owner would have to go through the SUP. That's where we would actually then have some control over whether it becomes or stays, or it becomes a single family home again, or stays in the short-term rental pools. The other things that we looked at is kind of altering up the actual SUP permit format that includes some additional information such as the ID code that the short-term rental would be using on their third-party sites so that there's a better auditing process when the checks come in from VRBO or Airbnb, that they have the SUP number, they have the number that property belongs to. So in the background where it says this number, ABCD1 gave this much money, that there's a way to know what that actually belonged to. And then the other is providing some additional information for if you are out of town, if you live out of state or out of town and you need a local contact, we would be asking for that information as part of the process. And we would be asking to make sure that they had registered for paying hotel occupancy tax with the city so that there was proof that all of the things that we're trying to do is being done. With that said, we went on to talking about whether we should cap the amount of short-term rentals in the community, whether we should look at geographical destinations and decide, you know, as last month, the conversation came up around the property that was on the other side of the bridge, not necessarily a safe walking route back to the square. What the commission went through was creating kind of a circle. So taking Mary Lynn, basically from the river all the way up to 67, coming down 67 back to the far side of Bernard Street, and then looping back around to Mary Lynn and Bernard. They said short-term rentals all day long, anywhere within that boundary, no caps. No more short-term rentals outside of that area. We did define a little bit of difference between a short-term rental and a daily use where the owner is occupying the building and then is like renting out a room in it, would not be capped the way a short-term rental that is not occupied. So if somebody is renting out a room for within that distance parameter or outside of that distance parameter, for say outages, that because those tend to be 30 days, there is no occupancy tax being collected. The owner is actually just renting a room. That's not what we're talking about in short-term rentals. Short-term rentals is when the entire property is being rented out and nobody lives on site. So that's the gist of what is in this ordinance. I kind of drew a circle around so you can see where they were talking about. It's not perfect. We'll have to get into GIS and clean that up. We did add that if you're operating out of code, operating without having gone through the processes, that there's fines. So this was just a first attempt stab at starting to kind of gain a little bit of control. We're open to any ideas, discussions, thoughts, and direction to take it back and redo something if you would like it that instead of what we propose now.
All right, thank you, Pam. I'll open the public hearing for this item. Any comments from the public? All right, close the public hearing on this item. Let's have discussion, council, and any questions you have for P&Z.
I got a lot of questions. So first off, using your formula of 4%, it would cap it at either 44 or 45 homes.
Within the city limits.
Within the city limits, correct. We currently have, depending on whose formula you're using, 65-ish.
We're well above that.
So that means anybody in the future that comes to us would, well, number one, probably couldn't come before us because we're over our threshold.
Okay, well, we
Correct.
actually took the caps out. So,
It was capped at 4%.
no, we actually took the cap out and
Well,
took,
actually, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to, I apologize. I do have two separate chapter 4s in here, so, I'm going back and forth between the two.
You're fine. The chapter 4 only has the final one that the commission voted on took out caps and put geographic location in instead.
Okay.
So
Only the
we have
caps in those
submitted,
locations.
huh?
Only the caps in those locations.
No,
No caps.
no
No
caps at
caps
all.
in those locations.
No caps at all. So it's either, what they went with was either in this geographic location, allowed no cap, outside of this geographic location, not allowed at all. The theory being that in the geographic location, it is within walking distance of our tourist things. It is within walking distance of the hospital if people need to come for long-term stays at the hospital, or family members, et cetera. Outside of this area, it is truly what we believe to be residential.
I don't think that's fair to people that live outside of that circle. And let me just say one other thing that I have a very high concern about is Granbury on the south side of their square has their B&B or short-term rental properties. You cannot buy a single-family home there in that circle under 400 grand. And that's a lot for the homes that are, or some of the homes that are there. And I fear that we put a little cap in the geographical area, we're gonna see the real estate in that circle go up, which is great for the current homeowners. However, for somebody who wants to buy a piece of property, it's not great. You know, if somebody wants to, it's their first time home,
Sure,
they're not gonna be able to afford it.
I
So
understand
I have a
completely.
lot of concerns about, after seeing what Granbury's circle has done, I have a lot of concerns.
Okay. Again, as we said, this is where the commission came down, and again, I wasn't a part of the voting on this one either. So this is what they came up with that I am presenting. We're happy to take it back with any suggestions to look at from council, because this is a big one that we're talking about. And I think more feedback, the better.
Has the new lady started on P and Z? Was her first meeting this meeting?
Yes, she was a part of it.
Thank you.
I will say one thing, I like when it comes up for sale, to reconsider. Because that captures a little more control of, if we're over and we don't want more, then,
Well, we already have that in place.
oh, well, that's right. If you do.
That already exists in place. That's part of our SUP process.
Any other?
You said y'all looked at other cities. What, do they have a cap? And if so, what is their
So
cap?
some cities, and we've looked everywhere. Some cities were doing caps. Some cities moved everything out of R1s completely and said you had to be in multifamily zoning to have a short-term rental. A lot of cities were just basing it on geographic areas of where they were allowing them and not allowing them. So it's everybody's kind of up in the air. And of course, there's tons of lawsuits about this stuff right now. And so trying to come up with what is a balance between providing single-family homes to our residents, but allowing property rights and having people be allowed to do what they want with their homes, this is a tough one. And
So like the one we approved last week or last month on Elm Street, it's not in the,
it would not be in this zone.
Okay.
But the one today would be in this zone.
Yeah.
So there are, and when we really looked down and started kind of defining where are the Airbnbs in town, this is where the majority of them are. I mean, there's a handful that dot around this. There's a few going up Texas Drive, et cetera, but this is where the majority of them are. And there's a reason that they're coming to this area, and that's what they want, because it is the proximity to the tourist destinations, the downtown, the walkability for shopping, dining, et cetera. So this was our crack at it. Like I said, we originally started the dialogue with a geolocation or a cap or a combination of the two, and this is where they were landing. But
for me, it's like the square is the economic epicenter of Glenrose. Tourism is our number one driver of this community. I love the idea of really focusing on supporting small businesses around the square and the walkability of it. We all know that residents aren't great at making their way down to the square. So, I mean, having those short-term rentals down there is very valuable. So I appreciate y'all looking into this.
Anybody else have a comment?
And I'm going to state this again. If you want us to go back and do more research and come back with more ideas, we can do that. I don't want anybody to feel like this has to be the answer until everybody feel comfortable that we have found the right balance.
Have we run this one by our city attorney?
No, we have not.
You might have information on those lawsuits you speak of and which way they're going. Let's just table it and ask him. I'll include that in our memo.
Do you want us to go back and come back with some other ideas too? Or do you want
I
us
have one more
to?
question. I do have one more question, and this is really for Buck. So, Buck, do you get many calls on complaints from these short-term rentals? I mean, off the top of your head, can you think of many that you get?
No, ma'am, I have not.
No, you've never had one that you would call?
No.
If we have gone back through the records, there's not.
There's not.
There's
Well,
not.
that's good, because there are some places that I
Yeah,
think
yeah,
it's
no,
told.
no. The people that are coming here to Glen Rose are, they're not looking for a big party and creating
And have you had
dress.
any complaints from residents that live in it, around these?
So we have a lot of, during all of the processes, there's always a lot of people who say, the biggest concern they all have really is parking. That, and we've started addressing the parking as a part of each recommendation to go forward. And basically, if anybody's dependent on street parking to accommodate the number of people who are gonna be renting the house, they have to put into their rental agreements that they are limited to the parking spaces they have.
Also, do you want to go to our legal representation and talk about geographic versus caps versus what everybody's doing?
Yes.
Might as well be safe while we're doing it.
So we'll go back and pull some other ideas together for you guys, and then we can take it all to council. Okay.
Okay, Veronica, could you read number 4, please?
Public hearing regarding recommendations for amendments to Chapter 3 Building Regulations, Article 3.01, related to what effective code and when existing properties must be brought to effective code.
So first, based on a public comment, I want to state, commission was not aware of any concerns related to your business. Had not even, nothing. What we did know, I just need you to know that, what we did say is that we have been approached by multiple businesses that are wanting to divide what is originally a single unit into multiple units. And so a month and a half ago, David and I were talking about this and said, well, we need to probably put some basis around it so that there's guidelines moving forward. So anybody that's already in the process would not fall under this stuff. None of this would affect Jackie. None of this would affect anybody else that is already in the process of permitting for dividing a single occupant building. We just wanted to, because the requests kept coming, we wanted to put some groundwork in place for it moving forward so that it isn't a fly-by-night thing, that there is some procedure. So I just want to state that. Okay. Had I known there was problems, we probably wouldn't brought this up this month.
I just happened to see it this morning.
No, it's okay. I thought you were good. So, all right. So the idea of this is basically, when a building is being subdivided, that the two main things that have to happen is that there needs to be an actual floor plan with electrical, plumbing, and everything that has to get approved. And that the spaces are going to need occupancy permits, individual, because we have an ordinance that states any business has to have an occupancy permit, which therefore means it has to go through fire marshal inspections to get the occupancy permit. So we were just simply stating that if you're doing this, then you have to go through these steps. And that each permit would be issued when that section of the building is ready to be occupied. So that, and I'm just gonna use you as an example.
This is for 4 or 5?
4.
This is the 3.18, yes.
Hold on.
But
Yeah, yeah.
Let's stay on 4.
Yeah.
Oh, am I? I'm sorry. Four, okay, hang on. Oh, wrong one. Sorry. My bad. Okay, I had them out of order. Okay. 3.01, thank you. Number 4, skip what I just said. This is basically reiterating that if a property is undergoing renovations or an addition, that per FEMA jurisdiction, if you are spending more than 50% of your current market value before work is done, you have to come up to code. We are just alliterating or spelling that out more deeply, that says that code does not just include your building or your anything else, but it also includes our current ordinances. So things like occupancy permits, certificates of waivers, SUPs, parking, anything of that nature. If you're spending more than 50% from your current value defined by CAD before the work is done, you'll have to come up to current code. Now, if you're doing an addition, it's 25% space at addition kicks the same thing into play, but that's only on the new space. So if you're adding to a building 25% more space, the new space has to be brought up on all the building codes, but the entire building has to follow city ordinances. That's what this is. There's just been some question recently about some buildings that are undergoing rehab, and because they had an occupancy permit from 1970 something, they thought they didn't have to do modern things. And we're just clarifying that.
Questions? I think it only makes sense to me that when you essentially subdivide, and in Jackie's situation,
Okay.
plumbing
No, no, no,
changes.
This isn't the subdivide. Yeah, this isn't the subdivide. I was wrong.
I was talking about this one though.
Yeah, this one, where 50% renovation cost or addition of 25%.
But I think it ought to go fall into it
Yeah,
anyway.
it would
We
probably.
have to use the existing building.
Yeah.
I had a question I was gonna ask.
It's my hearing.
Well, let's get, a moment. Any other questions for Pam? It's on. Okay, I'm gonna open the public hearing section of this. Anyone would like to comment? Please step up to the podium.
I'm Ann Carver. I'm here and several folks, but
State your address, please.
I will. I can give you a PO box where I live. 1319 FM 200 Southeast, but I am also, the reason that it concerns me in the city is because I'm the president of the Somerville History Foundation, which owns Bernardsville and Art Museum. And if I kind of understand part of what she was saying, because it was convoluted in the fact that she started off on one subject and it wasn't the one we were talking about, and then it went to another, the item that we're talking about. Buildings built, we've adopted as a city, and if I'm pretty sure I'm correct, that we have the IBEC code, which is the existing building code for the buildings that were already here prior to any of that time, which covers all of your historic buildings. They fall under a different type of code than if I went out and built a brand new building. So we need to be very clear that we're not going to hinder what all of us, and I also sit as the vice chair of your Historic Preservation Commission. So all of what we've all worked for, our tourism, for our historic district, and the work that we're doing down here. And then you have homes that are in the section where you just went and made, are looking at putting SUPs for short-term rentals. Those are a lot of homes that are historic, and then you have Grace Street. So I'm wanting to be very clear on how we're going to do this, because some homes follow under the EC, the existing code, and some fall under the IBC. Is that, do I got all the initials right?
Yeah, you do.
Okay.
All right,
So I just think we need some clarification in here and make sure it's all really copacetic.
All right, thank you, Ann.
Help.
I have to tell my address. David LeBron,
Your address, they may be combined.
311 South Norma Drive, Waco, Texas, 76705, building official. Ann is correct, but I also agree with her at the same time. We just need some clarification so that people know when do they got to conform, when do they not. Historic buildings, says it right here in chapter 12 on the IEBC. Specifically what it's saying is they can get a design professional to evaluate the building, still keep it safe, and still keep it historic. And so once they do that, that's when the design professional makes the decision to say what needs to be brought up and what doesn't, to my interpretation.
So David, where's the dilemma? I'm not tracking with you where the dilemma is. If you say that's what that chapter says, where's
Well, this is only pertaining to historic buildings. We're talking about everything else, yeah, so
So
we just need clarification, that's a whole different battle, historic buildings, but she brought that up, so that's where I'm just clarifying that.
So if you
With the
have.
historic buildings,
so
yes.
As an example, if you have a building that was built in, the late 1900, 1920, 1930, and you have knob and tube, and you're not touching any renovations, you're just operating the building as is from that date, technically knob and tube would be allowed.
Yeah.
But if you're going to come back in and renovate and add, change, move electrical, you have to update the code to modern, you have to update the electrical to modern code. Correct? No, I'm asking. Don't.
That's what it's saying. It says the design professional would tell them exactly how to do that, and they would have to decide with their design team and everything, say, well, this is what I want to keep historic. This is what I want to update. And then the design professional would say, well, this is how you can update it, still be safe. They still have to meet life safety codes.
What's a design professional?
It's like an engineer,
Okay, well,
architect.
probably a better term, but,
Well, that's what it says here.
yeah, I know, I just didn't know what that was.
Hey, Chris,
Registered
want to weigh in
design
up here?
professional,
All right,
Historic buildings fall under a whole
well,
different,
I get that part. It's these
Yeah.
newer buildings that are,
it's your new, yes, sir, and you have to understand that as we get along in time and as our buildings age and we follow suit, buildings that weren't once historic could possibly become historic, and then they will fall under the existing building code. They taught us a whole class about all of this with the historic preservation of the Historical Commission. And I think maybe a little bit, because maybe we need to look at this a little bit.
yeah, I see the differences between historical and other buildings. I mean,
Because you have an existing building code and then you have a building code.
Okay, so I am gonna say, the really only thing that we had done in this, because we already had code that said, when you exceed these numbers, you are required. We added the wording that it also included our city ordinances. So the building code, the infrastructure, the plumbing, the electrical, all of that, we already have ordinances around that. And whether or not we have the historic exception written in properly, we can certainly address that. The thing that came up that has come up a couple of times now is that when a building is being expanded or deeply renovated, that they are trying to follow a city ordinance from, it could be anything from tree removal to parking to lighting to signage from the 1970s. And what we're saying is when you spend X amount of money or add X amount of space, the city ordinances also have to be, you have to follow the latest and greatest city ordinance related to lighting, signage, parking, trees, landscaping, all of that. We really weren't touching anything related to the electrical, the plumbing, the water, the sewer at all. But I hear what Ann is saying, and I can suggest that if you guys are satisfied with this for now, we'll come back next month with some additions to outline the historical aspect of it better.
Okay, I'm gonna close public hearing. Council discussion.
Joe?
He closed the public hearing, but.
Oh, I'm sorry. Did you have your hand up? Okay, I want to reopen public hearing for
Yes.
this item. What would you like to say?
So David is new, so he doesn't know this, but so I fell under the existing building code and originally Allison tried to fight that I didn't. And so they asked me to find a design professional, and what David doesn't know is that a lot of design professionals that I contacted that were available in the city refused to do the work because they just knew all the messy things going on. So I could not find anyone to do it or willing to do it, to submit it, unless I was gonna pay thousands and thousands of dollars to someone that was not local to the area or had any ties to anything whatsoever, and none of them were related to me. It was just multiple people straight up said, nope, I'm not dealing with the city.
Probably something else to consider, but I think we know what we have here. I don't think we need any further public comments, so I'm gonna close public hearing. Council discussion, you want to table, get more information? Get the line a little clearer between historical and ongoing? Stuart, what do you think?
If we're gonna table the whole agenda, I don't know why we showed up, but whatever y'all wanna do.
I guess I, for one, am deeply confused. I would like to have seen.
I'm not against tabling it. I'm
I
just-
know,
I just wanna say that.
that's okay. I mean, I'll happily make a motion to table it, but,
We'll go back and get more clarity.
okay.
That's not a problem.
I got one question. So everybody's clear out here. Are we gonna have to go through the public hearing again if we table the item? Because we're not tabling the public hearing, we're tabling the item, correct?
That's correct.
I saw Buck looking confused. I just want to make sure.
I think it's important just to qualify for you guys. A historic home, I mean, that's one even built in the 1970s. We're not talking 1920s. Correct.
50 years old.
Yeah,
50 years
50
old
years
and
old.
above is considered historic.
Yeah.
But we do have properties that have been built in the 1920s.
No, that's what I'm saying. It's like, I don't want y'all to get the impression we're only talking about these extremely historic homes. We're talking about some that were even
50 years or older.
Yeah.
You can have a home that was built in 1980
Yes.
that you want to do some renovations. The electrical code has some requirements based on how much electrical work you're doing.
Yes.
And so it wouldn't be that you have to update everything when we talk about the electrical code, when we talk about the plumbing code or the sewer or water. It's based on what you're working on.
Right.
So when it comes to the building codes, if you are redoing electric and that, then there is building code rules that state how much electric changes are you making that requires you to upgrade to the latest electric code adopted.
Right.
Okay, so our bigger goal out of this was not about the underlying. It was about making sure that in these situations, they have to bring up to our city ordinances.
Okay. Where do we want to?
We can take it and get better clarification.
When you come back, could you bring what's it, because you gave us the new. But can we also see?
Yeah, we'll bring you the
It's a red line version.
Yes, we can do that. Yeah, not a problem.
Item 4. Item 4.
I'm only here till May, but moving forward, the red line version really helps a lot. Trying to go back and forth.
Okay,
I'd appreciate it.
Veronica, we're gonna move to item number 5.
Public hearing regarding recommendations for addition of Article 3.18, building unit size changes and occupancy factors.
This is when I started talking, that I was in the wrong, and now I'm talking. So everything I said again. This is just to provide some guideline to when a person wants to take a single unit building and divide into a multi-unit building, what has to happen. So the basics are a permit and plan submission, a building code compliance, fire and life safety, zoning and parking, utilities and addressing, and certificate of occupancy. It just outlines, these are the things you need to know when you're going to do this. This isn't a punishment, this is the steps that will get you from A to B.
Any questions for Pam?
I have comments too.
Go in.
No, just questions for the applicant. We're not in discussion yet.
This, sorry, I lost where I was at. The, sprinkler systems, that's still only fitting under the ordinances that we have per square footage for the whole building or each individual building they're doing?
That's all fire marshal stuff. I don't have answers to that. That's what that's where the building must be reviewed and approved by the fire marshal or designated authority. Compliance shall include, but is not limited to installation of upgraded fire rated walls, doors, or separation between
Yeah,
tenant
right.
spaces.
I
We're
read all
not
that.
saying anything. We're simply saying the fire marshal has to decide.
Okay.
Anything else for the applicant? I'll open the public hearing for this item. Anyone like to speak?
I just have comments that I think would really.
Yeah, go ahead.
Just comments that think that through my process, that
Once
would be.
again, name and
Oh,
address,
yes,
sorry.
sorry. Jacqueline Reeves, 706 East Elm Street. Okay, so on all of the stuff would have been helpful for me in the beginning, so I'm glad this is being done, but there are some things that need to be clarified, I feel. So on number 1, where it says prior to, oh, sorry, just yeah. Where the property owner must submit updated site plans, blah, blah, blah. I think it also needs to state how many days the city officials also has to get back to you with either resolution, questions. That was where this Allison failed me. Legally, she had 15 days to get me an answer or provide me the option to use a third party, which is what we ended up doing 4 months later. So I think that would help. So then otherwise we're bothering them, every other day. Hey, do you have an answer? It needs to specify what time limit they have to get back to us. Huh? Yeah, but I think it should be clarified on the thing, just so. So again, with the fire marshal and designated authority, this is the issue that we've had. Technically, I'm a restaurant, so so I gave y'all, whenever I spoke, I did give y'all a chart, and it already says on there what is required when you are required to have firewall sprinklers or any of that. It's just like a chart, and that's on the building code. And that is what me and Gregory used when we did all the occupancy loads. So originally, I should have been an A, but the city inspector, before they gave me my occupancy, he accidentally left me as a B. And so I remained a B. And so what we did when we did all the occupancies for the restaurant, we took an account at what was going to be in those spaces. And so we verified that everything would be a B occupancy. So if you look at the chart and the cross chart, it's a B and a B, which means no firewall or separation or sprinklers are necessary. And so where it says installation, upgrade fire rated walls, I think it should have a comma and say if necessary, because it's not always necessary. And whenever I would speak to some of the fire department, they'd be like, oh, I don't know what's the code. So it goes back and forth. And so again, the fire alarm and sprinkler system's appropriate if necessary, because there's not always necessary. On unit 5 utilities and addressing, it's each tenant space shall have metered utilities where appropriate. Can we clarify what is appropriate? Because I didn't have to have them. And then at the very bottom, it says mail service identification. This might sound silly, but you need to clarify what do you do in the event that your property cannot receive mail? Because so my parents were at that location from August of 1990, right before my first birthday, and I was not able to receive mail at my property until last year when Rick Villa went to the post office and forced them basically to give us a post box, because I had gone in multiple times, spoken to the post office, called them, because anything I ordered from Amazon, if it was delivered by USPS, which you don't know until it gets delivered, it would not come to me. I then had to go to the post office, and I barely have time to go anywhere as it is. So, I mean, it wasn't until recently that I got to have mail. So what do you do in the event that you can't get mail? It's just.
Thank you, Jackie. I think there's some good points. I'm sure David wrote them all down.
Oh, yeah.
They are good points.
And then just last thing, the enforcement and penalties. How do you penalize your employees when they fail? Me.
So I agree that I don't like adding specific times of return things into a written ordinance like this, because then we have to remember it if something in the law changes. I would rather state more general per applicable law. And that's just so that we don't get caught that if the time changes to 10 days or 20 days that we're not out of compliance. I have zero problem with her comment on that we need to fall within the law of getting back to people. When necessary is totally good with. I individually metered utilities where appropriate. That's a conversation between the tenants and the companies, the water utilities, et cetera. That's not something for us to decide when it's appropriate. So I'm not sure how we would go about defining that, because as she said, she didn't need to do it, but that's because of who her tenants were. So I don't know, that's between the owner of the property and the water company or the power company, as far as I'm concerned, not us. As far as the mail situation, again, I don't know how to answer the U.S. Post Office problem.
Out of our control. Any other public comments? Okay. Close the public hearing and have discussion with the council. Anybody have an idea here? Rich, I see you're ready to talk.
Stephen? If we didn't put a time limit in the ordinance, and I really don't like this verbiage, but could we say something in there that the city shall let the applicant know what the reasonable time frame is so that they're not sitting there in limbo?
Yeah.
Or something to that effect. I mean, I hate having that in an ordinance, but I also don't want to be put in the same situation that we were just in a few months back to where Jackie's waiting forever and there's not some clear direction. So I guess you see where I'm going with that is can we? Is there some good verbiage that you can think of or the commission can think of that can?
Off the top of my head,
Address that.
I will come up with something.
So we're gonna table this one too?
Yeah, I'm 5 for 5 today. I'm normally better than this, guys.
I'm missing Murphy's last game, so.
Hey.
We know, Stuart, we know. I'm missing dinner.
Wow, I've never had a 5 for 5 day, so.
Well, anyone else have any questions on it?
Again, I'd like a document that kind of lays out where we're at, and then, let's, make sure, because I think, and I don't know this, but I think there's probably some very specific timelines that have been required by the legislature in recent changes as it relates to permitting and timelines.
Yes.
And
I will tell you, P and Z has a discussion that our once a month meetings are going to have to change because of the shot clocks. And that we're gonna have to do a lot more meetings on the fly to get information back to you guys, which also means that you guys are gonna end up doing meetings on the fly more. So I am happy to take all this feedback. And I mean, these were big skyscraper items for the community that they've all new ordinances that have never existed. And so, the fact that we've taken a blush at it, we've sent it to you guys, we've now gotten feedback from the community, and you guys were happy to go back and work on it some more so that everybody's good.
Appreciate all the time.
Maybe not
and
great,
hard
but
work.
everybody's good. And you'll see me again when we start talking about alcohol.
Okay, so once again, we're gonna table item number 5 for further clarity. Item 6 was struck from public hearings. We're gonna move to individual items for consideration, beginning with item 13. Discussion, consideration, and possible action in regards to awarding a bid for the well number 2 pump station improvements project.
Good evening, Mayor, Council. I'm Chris Hay with EHD here for the recommendation of bid award for the well 2 pump station improvements project. If you can recall, this is for improvements to pump station at well 2 to be able to pump water back up the hill into the standpipe at the well 4 site. So it provides additional flexibility and usage of the well 2 groundwater in the system. So we did receive 2 bids for the project. We reviewed the bids, and the recommendation before you is to award the project to TTE LLC at the lowest qualified bidder with a total bid amount of $565,870. They have done work for the city in the past and even recently with the well 3 ground storage tank improvements project. So we're familiar with them. And we're recommending them for award today. So happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Council?
Jim, you know what we budgeted for this?
We budgeted 540. So we're a little bit over, but I think we've already discussed this with the contractor by the time they complete, it'll probably be in the next budget cycle, so.
Yeah, the final completion, the contract schedule is about 8.5 months to final completion on the project, mainly due to waiting on some electrical gear, long lead times associated with that. But that'll put the final completion after the beginning of next fiscal year, which we won't release retainage, which is 10% of that contract until the project's finally complete. So there'll be budget funds available as sound sites for this fiscal year.
Chris, I have one question. Well, no, that's not true. My first question. So I was passed some information about it's called the Water Supply and Infrastructure Grant.
Yes.
Talk about that.
So I think that's funds associated with Senate Bill 500. I've actually spoke with Jim about that, and we're working on putting together a grant application on behalf of the city. I think the project's going to include new ground storage tanks. We're hoping the project will include new ground storage tanks and also rehabilitation of a couple of your standpipes. I think the scoring on that is partly related to median household income. So there's depending on how that works out, it's all scored statewide. It's gonna be pretty competitive. It's gonna be a pretty competitive process, but anytime it's a 100% grant project. So anytime there's a 100% grant out there, we're gonna go after it. So that's in the process. I think the applications are due in July based off the current schedule. And so I've already started that ball rolling with Jim. We're working on it.
Do you feel like this project would score well?
I would continue to move forward with this project as budgeted and try to shoot for including those other projects in that. It's not a guarantee that you're gonna get it. And that's could potentially push this project back another year, which pricing, you know how pricing goes. It's always good, in my opinion, to have, when you have a price that's, in our opinion, pretty good or pretty close to the estimate to move forward while you have it, because it likely only goes up when you rebid it.
Council?
So short answer, no.
Well, that was a
But
long
we're gonna
answer,
try.
but yes.
College try. Okay.
I thought Grant's only worked on new projects that you're just starting,
That's
not
what I
ones that you're in the process of. So
This one is different. You can actually, the engineering work and everything else leading up to it can be included in the grant application, plus the completion, construction and completion. It's $1 billion.
Available, yeah. So there's funding limits associated with service areas too. So the published, they're not final yet, but the published values I've seen, I think, for communities with less than 10,000 people served is 5 million, I believe, is what I've seen currently. So
Let's shoot the
it's still a big. Well, yeah, we're going for as much as we can with it and see what we get. So.
Council, back to the issue.
any other questions?
Go ahead.
No, I just.
I don't have any questions.
Anybody else?
Make a motion to approve the award of the bid for well number 2 pump station improvement project to TTE LLC in the bid amount of $565,870. That's about our esteems.
Second, was that second, Rick?
Sure.
Second by
Yes.
Councilman Browning. All in favor? 5-0 passes. Thank you, Chris.
Thank y'all.
Thank you, Chris.
Item 14, discussion, consideration, possible action regarding a special alcohol permit for the Glen Rose Wine and Art Festival. Would you like to speak?
Thank you.
That sounded scary to me.
Scott Gibson, 9903 West Highway 67. I'm the president of the Glen Rose Wine and Art Festival. This is since 2019, this is our 7th event we'll hold. We're approaching $100,000 in total charity money raised for our 3 charities, which are the Papa's Pantry, the Cancer Support Society, and the Children's Advocacy Fund. Plus, we fund a $1,000 art scholarship every year. What we do is invite in artists, if we can get them to come in, up to 12 wineries. This year, we're including craft beer into the mix now that we have a brewery in town. We have 3 other breweries that have committed to come in. So we'll have because the city has arranged to have Saturday night as a celebration for the 100th anniversary, we had to give up part of the square where the stage is coming in. So we normally have about 80 vendors on the square. This year we'll have about 65. So, but we expect with the music that's coming in, should be a big weekend in town. And we expect a lot of people to come in. So that is what we're hoping for. The alcohol, by the way, what I call the TABC letter, is it gives the vineyards the legal authority to be in town and sell their wares on the square. Plus food and art and everything.
Any questions?
I have just one, and
Sure.
I think I already know the self-explanatory answer, but the application doesn't show it. So you just have on here from 9 to 9, doesn't specify AM to PM, so I'm just confirming.
Oh,
9
I'm sorry.
AM to 9
Yes,
PM, is that our?
Yes, yeah, we have to be very rigid on our agreements with our vendors, especially our wineries. The TABC holds them to, pretty close rules, so we'll shut down that part of it at 9 o'clock at night, even though the music may go on for a while. But at the Biloxi Festival and Spring Fling, we had about 2,000 people on the square that weekend, and I hope and pray that we have that many show up this time.
The music will likely go till 10.
Probably so. Right, and we'll shut off alcohol sales at 9 o'clock.
Okay.
And by the way, in all the years we've been doing this, one time did Chief Martin have to escort somebody home or off the premises. So it's been a good group of people that we've had come in.
No, it's because your glasses are so small, is what it is.
That's right. Oh, by the way, normally in the past, when they purchased the tasting ticket, they got 2 samples from each winery. This year we cut it down to 1. So we're trying to get them, if they like the product that the vendor has, we'd like to get them to buy it instead of.
Thank you, Scott. What a great event this is for our city every year. Council, any discussion?
I move to accept the special alcohol permit for the Glen Rose Wine and Arts Festival on March 27 and 28.
I'll second.
Second by Mayor Pro Tem Mann. All in favor? 5-0 passes.
Thank you very much. Look forward to seeing you all there.
Thank you, Scott. Good to see you.
Okay, item number 15. A discussion, consideration, and possible action regarding a special alcohol permit for the MS Bike Race event. Yeah.
Hi, so the MS Bike Race, as you know, this will be their 3rd year. They will be May 2nd. They're leaving from the Dallas-Fort Worth area, riding the back roads down to Heritage Park. The bicyclists start arriving around 10 a.m. They actually shut the park down for activities, etc., at 7 p.m. That during that hours of they have applied for 10 to 7. They have a number of different sponsors who will come in. You have community beer, you have some wine and some cocktails that they are providing tastings and beverages to participants of the ride. There has been no incidents of Mr. Martin, no.
No biking.
No biking under the influence. No, these guys are pretty dang serious about their stuff. They're not getting drunk. They're just relaxing. And so the MS Bike asked if I would represent them, presenting this to you guys because I am their local coordinator for things not city related.
Council, any questions? I'd like to make a motion.
I move to approve the special alcohol permit for the MS Bike Race event.
A second.
Who seconded? I'm sorry. Councilmember Nate, second. All in favor?
Woohoo, I got one.
5-0.
I'm afraid of that.
Okay, number 16, discussion, consideration, and possible action regarding an ordinance vacating and/or abandoning, closing, and the sale of a 95.55 foot by 54 by 96 inch right-of-way in abstract A136 Railroad Block 1, Lot 12.
Chris Reynolds, Kayla Reynolds. We reside at 2197 County Road 303, Rainbow, Texas, 76077. We own a track number 1928. It's at the corner of Bridget Lane and 144 South. It's just north of the Dollar General. There's an abandoned alleyway roadway,
Ending St. Houston Drive.
right between us and Dollar General. We actually thought we owned it when we bought it from the Whitworths. The Whitworths thought they owned it. We've been maintaining it for 5 to 6 years. They maintained it. Matter of fact, I bought it when I was a kid. But no, we're just asking for this thing deeded to us. That's possible.
Is it inside that triangle?
Yes, the little red building.
Yeah.
The old snow cone stand?
Where the new Dollar General is.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a little triangle building.
Yeah, and we wanted to do a snow cone stand eventually. We have to have an abandoned street to be able to have parking, you have to have parking to have a snow cone stand. So without that, there's not room to have parking.
And we figured if we put parking, the taxes go up and then we can.
We only paid $26 in taxes this year, so, you know.
We gotta work on
Snow cone
that.
stand.
Yeah.
So if we get something going in there. Right now, we can't do anything.
There's not room.
Any questions, council? We have coconut snow cone?
We will.
Sold, right? And I see that your neighbor gave the waiver to the.
Yes, Dollar General said, gave up their half. They said they do not want it.
Okay, as long as none of these other things come in.
Right, we can't put it
Get
in
that little bitty
Walgreens
trash.
or.
I was reading all that going, am I thinking about the right?
Yes, that's their rule. No Walgreens, nothing that'll compete with it.
So no pop-up like
No.
toilet seat
No,
tissue and stuff from y'all, because you be complete speed.
Right,
It has to be
yeah.
so-
Yeah, there's actually a building, it was a snow cone stand
Yeah.
when we were kids.
Oh, but
Yeah, briefly.
I came back the summer of '96 from A&M and they had snow cones there and I lived in a little house, the Penny, it was a Whitworth house. Walk over and get snow cones, that'll bring it back.
They're both wearing maroon tonight, believe that.
That's right. Dig 'em.
So this is just about, if my measurements were right when I looked at CAD, it's a little about 5,200 square feet. Is that about right?
I'm not sure.
It's 50 foot long, so I don't know how it is.
Questions? Motions?
Well, I know this is an area that we've come down in the past and council's gone back and forth on where their stance is on deeding versus selling. And I know we've had this conversation before too. I do think we need to come up with a good formula to resolve that issue, because I don't think it's fair from one person to the next that we waver on that decision. So that's my big concern, but I think that's something that we have to address ourselves independently, not so much on this project, but I think it's something we need to resolve before we get another one before us.
I would like to say, years and years ago, they abandoned all the alleyways in that area. They deeded them over to the neighbors and everything. Honestly, I believe this got deeded over. I believe Joe Gordon Whitworth just didn't put it in the survey because it wasn't on the city map, and we only found it through our surveyor.
Yeah, we have the same thing with Mims's place right down the road on that
Yeah.
corner,
Yes.
where they just they gave up the easements or the alleyways, and then people didn't go through their process.
of getting it.
Yeah.
Are y'all drawing up the deed to transfer?
Talked to Sonia at Stewart Title. She said she normally did them for you guys when y'all had in the past.
But I think if that was the case, then it would be the city paying for it.
No.
I'll pay you the closing costs.
She's a realtor.
You'll pay it?
And the filing. It needs
Yeah,
to be
and the
filed
filing.
with the county.
I'll file it.
I thought we did this, when we did this with Rosie, we had to charge her $1 or something like that.
Yes, but we
It
ended up
was-
paying the filing fee,
It was $10 and other good and valuable
Yeah.
consideration.
but we paid about $170.
How much?
$170. The city did.
$170 filing fee? You can do it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Council?
Want to wrap that in the motion since you have the stipulations?
Yeah.
Sure. Let me get to the agenda item. I was looking for where there was a motion to abandon. Make a motion to transfer title to a 95.55 piece by 54 by 96 piece of right-of-way out of abstract and 136 in the Railroad Edition, Block 1, Lot 12, formerly Sam Houston. And the petitioners are going to pay the filing fee and the survey and deed cost.
Correct. I'll second.
Second by Mayor Pro Tem Mann. All in favor? 5-0. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And we'd like for y'all to stay for the rest of the night.
Item 17, discussion, consideration, and possible action regarding the utility applications and rabies control ordinance.
Oh, that's me, isn't it?
That's you.
All right, so what we'd like to have, what I would like to have is, whenever they sign up for their water bill, to have the ordinance on we are doing a handout. Veronica sent out a email on it, but them getting it, they can say they didn't get it. But if we have it on where they signed to set up their services and all that, then we have the written proof that, they've acknowledged it. So it's gonna make that a little longer, but, I'm thinking we at least have their signature on the fact that they accepted and have read it.
So it's gonna go on this document?
It'll go on the actual
Application.
application that they fill out for their water account.
Veronica, when we turn around and do sign up for services, on the software program we utilize, do we have anywhere in there that there's either notes or a checkbox that says animals on site? And of course, what I'm thinking about is more in lines of our workers having to go out and work on the water meters or having to work on something and there being pets on site. If we don't have that capability at this present moment, I think it's something we should try to maybe see if it's something that can be added. And that can also be a way to check and balance that we've asked that question. But I'm looking at it more as in lines of our employees also are safer too.
I don't know that there's a checkbox for
Is there
specifically
notes?
for animals, but there is notes. But I can ask FundView if they can add that on there. It's probably not the first time it's been requested, so I will find out. But
That'd be just kind of a checks and balances as we're giving them this sheet that they're signing, plus we have it documented in the computer.
Well, I don't think it's a great deal to ask a new resident to have their pets receive shots or acknowledge that it's required within 10 days.
That was already existing ordinance.
It was an existing ordinance, but
No teeth.
Yeah.
No teeth.
we have no proof that they read it other than if they looked at the ordinance. With this, we have their signature on it. Because like I said, we are handing out a 2-page thing with them, but we don't have, they could say they didn't get it, my husband came, whatever, but we tie their signature down to it, then they've acknowledged they've received it.
I'm gonna go ahead and come up. Is that okay?
Yeah, sure.
Dennis
Okay.
Moore, 301 Mission Street. In a perfect world, this is great, and I was on city council 10 years. I didn't know what the ordinances were. People are not gonna read the city ordinances. I mean, it's like a wheelbarrow. They're not gonna do it. My mother was attacked and bitten by a dog that had been here 3 days. So the way it was prior, they would have come in and got their stuff. They would have known. They don't know what the ordinance is. But I'm still saying, I still believe there needs to be some more teeth where they have to bring the documentation. How hard is that? I've been a pet owner for 45 years. I know if my dog or cat is vaccinated. They told the cop it's vaccinated. They told the sheriff's deputy it's vaccinated. It was not vaccinated. And the owner told me, I assumed it was vaccinated. I mean, so I appreciate Stuart doing this, putting this on here. This is a step forward. So when they come in and get their turn on the water, they'll know what the ordinance is, but will they do it? That's all I'm saying. I was wanting maybe to say that they have to at some point bring the documentation in from the vet showing that the animal's vaccinated. Because some people are just gonna lie about it. They're gonna say, yeah, I've got pets, they're all vaccinated, or I assume they are. Till they bite your,
I mean,
till
you
they bite
know
your
what goes
money.
on here, Dennis, you know, at the time and the short staff we have, that's pretty,
I understand.
That's a big ask.
I understand.
Yeah. I think if we can acknowledge it and then control it through, something happens, we have something to go to and say you didn't.
I mean, my mother had several $100s of bills. The family did not offer to pay for anything. So I mean, that might give some teeth if they have to sign a document.
Yeah, I think it's better than where we are, but I think having them required to bring it back in and our staff have to file it and put it away. But let's make them acknowledge it. I think it's a great
I understand
idea.
that. I'm not totally happy, but I'm about 90%.
That's
Are
pretty
you
good.
over 100 though?
I'm not 100% because I'm one of those, I
But
want them
are
to
you
bring in
ever?
documentation showing their animals vaccinated. But I'm at 90%.
That's good. Well, and I think part of the problem with that is that it was a full-grown dog, right?
Yes.
But you're not holding residents accountable who might adopt a full-grown dog. And so for example, I adopted a full-grown dog. And so you're not holding me accountable for bringing in documentation to a new
No,
dog.
I'm saying
And
it's,
it would be very difficult to
yeah. Well, it's
to
only,
do that when you're not doing it for all.
I would assume it's only for new people moving in, at least when they're moving into town. And what happened to my mother was exactly that very thing. They'd been here 3 days.
But it wouldn't have been any different had that happened, that I had a brand new dog.
Yeah.
That was, I mean, I'm just saying, yes, that was a new person, but
Right.
now you're not holding the people accountable that have been here for a long time and may not have a dog vaccinated.
Right. Well, they
So-
still should check on that. I mean,
In the perfect world, that would be.
just
really
hope
nice.
it don't bite one of your family members or your child, or you'll think differently, believe me, when it's
Is
affecting you
there not
personally.
a law about I think the dog attacks somebody, what the liability is and all that kind of stuff?
Are you asking if Dave received a citation for dog at large?
Okay.
The cost will be civil.
Okay, so they would have to pursue that.
The only group that makes any money off this is the city, because the city charged them for 10 days to keep it in pound. So the city got some money.
Actually, we didn't charge enough, Dennis. We lost money on that deal.
Okay.
All right, council?
Thank you.
You bet, thank you.
I guess anyway.
I was about to say.
I make a motion.
I got it. Go ahead, George, you're up.
I make a motion to proceed with the recommendation as presented, to attach it to their application and have them sign and date.
I'll second.
Second by Mayor Pro Tem Mann. All in favor? 5-0.
Yes, sir. Mayor, can we move to item 23 for the?
Yeah.
for these?
Okay. We will do item 23. George, thank you. Discussion, consideration, of possible action regarding the naming of the city park located behind the expo.
That's me again. With us getting, sorry, I'm trying to get down to it. With us getting the grant and everything in motion to start doing the things we're gonna do at that park, I just thinking about it, and I really wanted to give the park a solid name to bring everything together at that park. Where we can take the grant and we can take this and wrap it all together and make one big, like, ribbon cutting kind of thing. And my suggestion would be the Nathan Beatty Recreational Park.
I love it. I think that, for the short time that he was in Glen Rose, he made such an impression on so many people that are committed to soccer and just being outside as a young child should. Put your feet in the grass and go. The family in and of themselves, they really exemplify that family unit. I'm going to make me cry. Yeah. And so I can't find a better young child, but also family to name that park after. And so full-heartedly, 1000%, I would love to name it that.
say we add in, maybe at the end? What would be soccer complex or something?
Well, and I think that what, my thought is that the park is meant for all citizens, and we're gonna be adding additional services out there for people that just aren't focused on soccer.
Right.
So we wanted to do more of like a holistic approach and have it just be an all-encompassing like recreational park.
What was the full name you suggested?
Nathan Beatty Recreational Park.
Recreational Park. Okay.
And this, all the soccer and everything stay in there.
Oh, yeah.
Right, I just thought if you had soccer complex at the end, that way. When we try to tell people from Dallas and Mansfield to get here, they like they're going where?
They'll find it.
The word complex, when you talk about sporting activities, complex is a more commonly used way to say park.
Yeah.
So if you did the Nathan Beatty recreational complex, it might get a little bit more to where her thought process was too.
I love it. I'm fine with that, yeah. That'll be good.
Setting multiple.
Still making a motion?
No, just discussion. I mean,
Okay.
I don't always get what I want, but do y'all have anything?
No, I fully support it. I was hoping you were making the motion.
I move to name the park located behind the Expo Center, the Nathan Beatty Complex.
Recreational complex.
Okay, I move to name the park located behind the Expo, the Nathan Beatty Recreational Complex.
I second it.
Seconded by Councilmember Schultz, all in favor? 5-0, passes.
Thank you so much for letting us do this.
Yeah.
Thank you.
No, thank you.
You really appreciate it.
Thank you for staying with us this long.
All right, back to item 18.
Can we do 24? I think Kim's here for 24.
You're welcome. Thank y'all for coming.
Good night, thank you.
Discussion, consideration, and possible action regarding the formation of a park committee.
This is mine too. I'm setting a record this month. So with kind of everything that I've already said here to move into the grant being funded, and I think we need to talk about like the committee that we're going to form for that park committee. How many people are we going to have? My discussion on it is like when we have the CVB advisory board and we have like one person from here, one person from here, one person from here. I don't really like that idea because then we fall off into having an open spot and nobody from that to be able to fill it. And so then we're stuck like we had, I think Cheyenne on the CVB, wasn't that? Where she didn't really fit the part, but we needed somebody to come on there. So I think she came under Bernard's bill.
Yeah. She came under the nonprofit.
And so like, I know that we want to have like soccer people and we want to have other people involved. So I don't know how we want to structure that committee, but I'd like to try to seal all that up, not name the committee, but where we can get this out and start posting to take applications.
If you follow your historic preservation or your P and Z, it's diversified.
Yeah, you just do 7 people that.
Or 5, 7. I'm a proponent of the bigger the group, the harder it is to get everybody to show up.
I agree with you. I prefer 5 and then, when we extended HPC, then we were out of quorum a few times, so.
We have been and still are. But if you do 5, you only have to have 3 or 5 show up to have a quorum and you can actually get something done at certain times. That's my personal opinion, for what it's worth, $1.98.
George?
I think it's great. I think we need, we're gonna need, people who
want to lean in and work. And Kim, I appreciate you already reaching out, send me the email, and I'd be happy to do that or support you, as a member on the committee, because I think it's critical that we, we kind of bring in the full scope of things that we identified in the comprehensive plan that we thought were important, that we heard from the community that was important, but yet not have it so big that it's an unmanageable group. I don't have a huge preference, 5, 6, 7. I think that, we need probably 3 people tangentially attached with the city. Jim is the most logical person, 1 council member, maybe 2 council members. Because there's a lot of work and a lot of contacts that are going to need to be, kind of dug out. That it's kind of hard to ask a volunteer to do. If you're going to ask a company to come in and make you a presentation on a particular thing, our volunteers are great. I just don't like wearing out the same volunteers. So if we could find a group of people that would represent a broad range, everybody puts forward the name, we send out a Civic Plus note that, we're taking applications for a park committee to help us give some guidance. And
if we're gonna put 3 city either officials or employees on there, I would kind of like to expand it to 7. Because I know I've got 1 for sure in my mind, and I've got a second one. Ms. Tara would like to be a part of that. So, I mean, there's 2 already,
Yeah.
2 that we know is gonna show up.
The city employees
Don't count as part of it.
don't count as part of the committee,
Well, then
So
all
it could be 5 plus.
plus the employees.
Plus 3 city.
Yeah. They're part of it, but they're not necessarily voting members. This is an advisory committee, not a,
Gotcha. Well, then I guess we could stay with 5.
because ultimately your committee isn't making decisions. Your employees are. And council is. Like, we don't have David's a part of our P and Z, but he's not on our commission.
Well, I move to form a Parks Commission or committee, whichever way we're verbalizing it, with 5 members of the public, along with a certain amount of city employees to assist in the expansion and utilization of our parks.
I'll second.
Second, Mayor Pro Tem Mam, all in favor?
Oh, one question. We are the scope, he said plural, that this would be something beyond just the new Nathan Beatty Recreation Complex. This would be something that include Heritage Park as
This
well.
would be all
in the
parks,
scope?
yes, all
Okay, all
parks.
right, I just want to make sure.
Which are those 2, so.
Oh, sorry.
All in favor, again? 5-0 passes. Okay.
Oh,
Item
man,
number
I thought we
18.
were done. Now we gotta go back on.
Hurts, doesn't it?
Pull the tissue.
Yeah.
And pickleball. Discussion, consideration, possible action regarding resolution number 2026-R-02, acknowledging the review and acceptance of the City of Glen Rose investment policy.
Per our investment policy, it's to be reviewed and then adopted again, no less than annually. So I sent it all out to you to review. I only got a couple comments back, which I redlined it in section 4A.
What was the reason for the change from 2 to 3?
George.
Because if you look at it and it says to be laddered, it's very hard to ladder something for 2 years. So if you're looking at an investment policy and you're gonna do some bonds and you're gonna go every 6 months, something coming off, you need to be out in 3 years to capitalize on a return. And then you come in and ladder at the next 6-month period. So if you laddered only at 2 years, you're limited to a short-term bond. So if you get to 3, you at least are a little farther out. And then if you come back with another 6 months behind it, you'd have 6 rolling off every 6 months. That was my rationale.
This is the only red line in the whole thing.
Yep.
I don't believe we've done anything beyond 2 years. Since I've been here. But makes sense to me.
You've barely been here 2 years.
I've been here 3 years now.
Sorry.
Comments? That's a lot for you people.
I'll move to accept resolution 2026R02 of the Glen Rose investment policy. City of Glen Rose investment policy.
I'll second.
Second by Councilmember Rooney. All in favor? 5-0 passes. Thank you. Discussion, consideration, and possible action regarding the approval of resolution number 2026-R-04, acknowledging the review and acceptance of the city's financial policy.
Same
Item
thing.
number 19.
This is to be reviewed and then accepted again by resolution annually. There's a few red lines in there. Section 3, I've taken out core and security funds. They're no longer separate. They're together for one of the Senate bills, so I can't remember which one it is. And then I updated the purchases, which I see it in there, from 50,000 to 100,000, since that was increased for procurement. And then I just changed a few hers to there and make it more.
You also have the receipts of purchases going to the city secretary
Yes.
rather than deputy city secretary.
So I see purchasing guidelines for the various dollar figures, but with you changing it to 100,000, there's no guideline for between 50 and 100. Because you've changed that one to say more than $100,000, but E obviously says between 20 and 50. But there's nothing that's between 50 and 100. So is
What guideline would you all like for that?
you know better what goes in there. I just think we need to capture that
additional 50.
That gap somewhere.
Okay.
That's all
I think it could be the same as the one below it.
Okay.
It's just the state law changed to 100, so that's why.
Well, if E changes from 20 to 100, then, and I don't know if that's what state law states, but if it's
just saying if it's exceed 100,000, you have to have a formal bid.
Bid process.
if we're doing bids for anything greater than 20,000, we're doing the 2 bids process.
It was 50.
50?
Now it's increased to
No.
100.
But we could have our own policy.
Yes. And if that's something you all want to add into that, that's fine. I don't know, the last time this was looked at was 2 years ago.
Section F looks like anything above 20,000 of purchasing.
That's gonna be on the buy board.
Well, it's either by board or 2 verbal or written bids.
I can take that part out. I don't know why. If
Which
that-
I'm a big proponent of bids. I know it's a pain, but I'm still, that's I think the way we get our best value of things.
You want to rewrite, or Rich, you want to throw out a
those were the only areas that I saw that I wanted to ask about, but I don't know if we need to rewrite or if we can approve with those.
We can approve with the changes.
Changes. Well, with that being said, I'll make a motion to, let me put back on the glasses so I can see the resolution. To approve the adoption of resolution 2026R-04, the city's financial policy with the amendments specified.
A second.
Second by Council Pro Tem Mann, all in favor? 5-0. Thank you. Item number 20, discussion, consideration, and possible action regarding the approval of resolution number 2026-R-03, approving the record management policy and plan for the city of Glen Rose.
Okay, on my last resolution. No, wait, not my last one. One more to go. As the records management officer, I was kind of researching what we had done in the past as a city. And that we really hadn't had a formal policy/plan in place. So I created one that follows the TSLAC guidelines and schedule. And then, so I don't know if you all have any questions or you had time to review it. But this allows me to start putting a program in place for our city documents and then getting everybody on a retention schedule. Each department will have a liaison, and we will coordinate quarterly meetings to go over our records retention and do a little training on Laserfish, because that's where most of our records are going now. So did anybody have any questions on this or comments or suggestions or?
I think it's good practice.
We're currently disposing of our documents monthly with a shred service. And we're just, like I said, we just go by the TSLAC schedule.
I make a motion to approve resolution 2026-R-3.
A second.
Second by Mayor Pro Tem Mann, all in favor? 5-0 pass. Item 21, discussion, consideration, and possible action regarding resolution number 2026-R-01, following the May 2nd, 2026 general election.
That's my last resolution.
I'll break you guys, won't be out.
Someone wanted to motion that?
I'll move to accept resolution 2026-R-01, calling for a May 2nd, 2026 general election.
I'll second.
All in favor, second by Councilmember Freeze, all in favor? 5-0 passes. Yeah, I think we can move on with this one without Georgie.
Item number 22, discuss.
Go ahead, read it, Mayor Pro Tem, please. I want to see your
Discussion,
reading skills.
consideration, and possible action regarding the design of the dinosaur purchased from the Lions Club.
Well, I'll talk about that. So last board meeting, we discussed, we
Councilman.
wanted to open it up to our friends in the community. And it was open to all Somerville County residents. And we also invited the students to participate. We got no response from the county, but we had tons of response from the children, probably 300 different dinosaurs. And we have narrowed it down. Our plan was to announce, but I wanted to throw out I wanted to ask what y'all thought would be better if we narrowed down to our favorite choices and then put it out for the public to vote, or if we wanted to get a plan and go with it. But we have not managed to select just one at this point in time. And we also are doing naming. And you guys have a sheet with names that were suggested. Once again, they all came from the children, from our GRISD.
I like Wendy.
I like Glennosaurus.
Why don't we start with that? I think selecting three and letting council do it. If we open it up that big, we'll be here for days.
So do y'all wanna know? Okay,
No, you can wait on it. You don't have to tell us
Oh,
now.
is it the same? Oh, yeah.
You want to just send a statement with the three? What do you think? You want
Megatron.
to show them? You already did it? You already compiled the results?
no, I
Okay.
just asked all of you guys to come up with three.
Did
Some of
everyone
us
vote?
in this room don't know how to get to three. They think
Two
they're just
times three was six.
So, just saying, so no, I do not have what our top three are,
Okay.
because we just got them today. Everybody was just able to vote, so I can send you an email.
Yeah,
yes.
do that and send me three. And
Y'all,
then
please don't respond to the email, just look
can
at
you
it.
take a picture of the
I will
one?
take a picture of the ones and send it, yes.
That'd be great.
So, since y'all were all so helpful.
Did you have any that was just like your diehard favorite?
No, there's a bunch of them
They're
that I
good.
like. Yeah, they
You're
were-
trying to set her up.
No.
yeah. No, this is not the Lori Makes dinosaur, I promise. Even though y'all were not very helpful on this, but.
I noticed that Lori wasn't the name for the dinosaur.
Yeah, that's because I did not submit anything. Not that I
Larry
would say that was.
Larry made the cut.
Some of them are hilarious.
Larry's my first name, so I think
Oh,
it's
is it?
appropriate.
Okay. Well, and
So
a lot of the names were like, okay, that's not a word. So, as you can imagine, but I will say, as far as the names, there were multiple submissions on Rose, which makes complete sense. And of course, there were a lot on Tiger. A lot of the kids just did tiger dinosaurs, so I eliminated all of those because this is not just about school. And there were several for some kind of saurus. I put some of them on there, but Glennosaurus, Barnosaurus, and there were several for Bernard. And wow. And then there were several for Jenny. Glenny. Glenn and Glenny. There were several for that.
I like Glennosaurus.
I like Valentina too.
Valentina.
Yeah.
I like Rose. I think Rose is pretty
So,
good.
Rose is solid.
So there were some very creative ones.
Okay, how about the council takes this list home and sends you their top three?
Okay,
You compile it and decide.
I think that sounds great.
All right, top three, council. The mayor gets to vote on that.
I
Is
agree.
that a real three?
Top three.
Not six, George.
Lori, first of all, thank you for doing all that. I know it was quite time consuming, but it really is cute.
It was good. Y'all, this is my wheelhouse right here, so.
Okay,
That was good.
consent agenda. All the consent agenda items are considered routine by the council, and they can be enacted by one motion. Will be a separate discussion of these items if a council member requests one to be removed and considered separately.
I'll move to accept the consent agenda items 25 through 28.
We have a second?
Second.
Second by Councilmember Freeze. All in favor? 5-0, pass.
Hey, George, or, I'm sorry, Joe.
Yeah.
According to your record keepers here in the audience, you guys did not actually make a formal decision,
To close it out.
to close out the dinosaur.
I said, I'll open that item, and I said no action on item 22.
Perfect. Thank you.
You're welcome. Y'all are listening for the wrong voice.
Apparently.
There were. All right, staff reports. Jim? Under your public works title for the moment.
Yes, sir. So, y'all all been given a report. You have any questions? There was one thing I did want to add. I heard back from the company that's going to do the lighting, and they were saying estimated time would be last week in February, first week in March.
To come out and evaluate or come out and do the work?
To come out and install.
Okay.
Yeah.
Tell them not to leave before dark so we can make sure we like it all perfect. Please.
I am gonna hit them up and see what they would charge for a lightning rod installation.
Yeah, we need that for sure.
I don't know if that's something they usually do or not, but they're gonna have a man live, so. Yeah, we'll see.
Any other questions?
Any update on the school zone?
I think they fired the lights up today.
Okay.
Yesterday. No, it was the other
Okay,
day,
it was
yeah.
blinking yesterday. All right, but I took
Yeah,
David
they
to work
look
yesterday, I
nice.
didn't see it on, so I just thought I'd ask.
So Buck, is that speed zone now effective?
Yes, sir.
School zone?
Yay.
What is it now?
35.
35?
Dang, y'all gotta make some money.
It's 30.
I thought it was going to 35. Wow. So what if I know 30?
Is it just while the kids are en route to school and leaving school, or is it during the whole duration?
No, just there and from, correct, yeah, not all day, just to and from, correct.
Okay. Buck? Chief Martin?
Everything all right?
Doing good. Awesome. Still trying to get used to all the buildings. We've interviewed about three applicants for the new police officer, so we're getting down to getting one. Got to do the background investigation, but we've had some good applicants that applied, so. Other than that, got any questions on the report?
Questions for Chief Martin?
Anything, sir. Appreciate you.
Thank you. David, Building and Planning Department report?
How y'all doing?
Good.
Have any questions? I got an update on that park. Have y'all been by there? That animal control? Have you
I haven't
seen some
been
of
by
it? Starting to look real nice.
Ribbon cutting on
What
us.
is that?
Saturday.
Is that a greenhouse?
What's that?
What is that?
Oh, that's a catio. Catio. I never heard of one, but there's a catio. It's a patio for cats.
There's gonna be a ribbon cutting Saturday at 11 a.m.
To my knowledge, yes. And,
There's gonna be some filming taking place there.
yeah, there's gonna be some filming. We should have our sign up this week. We are gonna get some lights, possibly. I don't know if those will be up this week, but they do have lighting in the back, some nice solar lights. They're pretty expensive. Solar lights in the back, so it'll be lit up. So eventually, it might look like a stadium back there.
For those.
You noted it's the only place in town with green grass.
Yeah.
So.
We'd like to say one thing for your staff up there. They've garnered a couple of very nice grants recently.
Oh, yeah.
Those don't go without effort.
Oh, yeah.
Really great for the city to see those come about. They're ongoing. Every month we'll receive.
Yes, sir. And I tried to get her connected with the city of Waco and how they did their programs and stuff like that, because that's how they started. Small, no kill, and then they've expanded on their facilities. So just trying to get all that stuff in place for it.
Thanks, sir.
Yes, sir.
Tracy, Convention and Visitors Bureau report.
Yes, sir. I am happy to represent the tourism department, and I just wanted to highlight a few things. Thing number one, each of you should have received one of these. There was a lot of paper on that desk when I tried to pass it out. So, but this has 4 things represented on this one flyer. So we have the incorporation celebration that's going to happen on March 28th. And we're going to have the open house of our new building. Let me read this because it's a long name. City of Glen Rose Lane Memorial Building. And afterwards, we'll have a concert. We've got Coup de Gras and Tejas Brothers. So that's exciting. And that, of course, is in conjunction with our Wine and Arts Festival. So great things ahead. Another couple of things. This weekend, we have the Monster Truck show February 14th at the Expo. And then, of course, guys, don't forget about the Paluxy Music Festival. There's some really great music coming up. So at the Biloxi Music Festival. We are going to have Friday evening at 6 o'clock, we have Hard Nights Day. And immediately after that, at 8 o'clock, we have Le Frite. That's going to be on the square. That's right. That's right. Go ahead. Wow it up.
It's cool.
And then Saturday, we're going to be at the Texas Amphitheater. So we get a nice mix there. And we've got Jamie Richards at 6 o'clock and Kevin Fowler at 8:30.
Kevin Fowler is still tentative.
It's
We have not
tentative.
signed him yet.
Okay. We're just going tentative there. Maybe I shouldn't have said his name, but I did.
No, it's all
So
right.
it's out there. It's on record. So I believe that is, do you have any questions about the report?
Okay, thank you, Tracy.
Well, you're so welcome.
Okay, Veronica, City Secretary's report.
Any question? Well, I just want to point out that Officer Martin celebrated his birthday on Sunday. In case you get to wish him a happy birthday. He's 40.
Happy birthday.
That's his pant size. What's his name?
I know better.
Yeah.
Badge number. Any questions on my report?
Come on, give yourself accolades here.
Oh, yes, I completed my certification for my designation for city secretary. So I will officially graduate in January, but I'm allowed to use a designation since I finished all my requirements.
Yay. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Okay, Jim, City Administrator's report.
It's attached to the other report.
I saw it.
So did y'all, I know y'all received an invitation for the TxDOT rural plan. Well, they had an online version today. So I went on there and I think it's important to point out there's and any of the citizens can go on there and watch this thing. And there's a form where you can fill out comments and submit them back. But so some of the other counties in the rural division, I guess, have a ton of projects. In like little tiny Somerville County that just gave us a few projects. And the bypass is not one of them. These are projects coming before 2030, to be started before 2030. I think we need to have a lot of comments. The order of them is kind of wacky too. They have the light that they said they were gonna be putting in up at Live Oak and the highway here. That's a project slated for 2029. They have it as a $60,000 project. So I think that should be moved up or moved back, next year maybe.
Yeah, we need to go online and look at that.
Someone sent that out in text blast
With the link for the
with the
comments.
link and all that stuff. Yeah, and that's all the citizens who go on and spend however long it takes, an hour on it.
Put it on that water bill text and we'll get there. Jim.
Yeah, yeah.
You're late.
All right. Does any council member have a report or something they'd like to share with us?
If you're gonna have them now, well, we had a well-attended event for the Encore Rally at the Expo Center that I was very proud of. And we have a community that hasn't forgotten what's happening and their flame is still burning very bright. We have a new control number. Encore changed the control number. We have a new control number. So if you already sent a letter, you can get the new control number and send it again so that it goes with this new control number. That's all I got.
What else?
February 20th, likely Encore is going to submit their proposed route for the 765 line, probably at that PUC meeting. They are not going to allow testimony or comment on anything that is contested, though you can offer comment on anything that is uncontested. So I'm planning to probably take that day and drive down to just see what they offer. They do have an online option. You can stream the PUC meeting. They'll post the agenda on Monday for the Thursday meeting, and we'll see for sure if Encore is going to proceed with their presentation, but it's likely that's their date to offer that. I think, are we going to Thursday to the
I think on Thursday.
Yeah, well, then I'll let you talk about it.
Oh, you're good.
Okay, all right.
Well, since Misty, yeah, good.
Yeah, no, but I'd like to go to the rural transportation improvement meeting and see what it takes to get those projects elevated. It's they do budgeting and planning in 5-year tranches. So this is their look at that tail end of this last bit. They'll take all the comments, they'll submit them to the TxDOT commissioners about what they want to include into the rural transportation improvement category. So they have multiple categories that they are seeking funding for, and RTIP is one of them. So we try to get as many shots at the apple as we can, and this is another one of their funding planning mechanisms that is available only to these small counties in these North Central Texas, well, for the 4 of us in this North Central Texas district, but for other counties, there's however many 20-something cogs. So this is the one for us.
That's this Thursday, 2 to 4 in Stephenville. So if any citizens want to go,
at City Hall,
it's
City
open
Hall
to
in
y'all
Stephenville.
too. Y'all can go and voice your thoughts too on projects.
Issue a comment, let them know about things that are important. Doesn't even have to be things that are planned or they just need that, here's things that are important to us as a community. Take a look at that. So.
All right. In accordance with the provisions of the Texas Open Meetings Law, Subchapter D, Government Code, Vernon's Texas Codes, annotated in accordance with Section 551.074, Personnel Matters, according to or in relationship to the city administrator, Section 551.071, consultation with attorney regarding interlocal agreement, and Section 551.074, Personnel Matters, to deliver and appoint, evaluate, reassignment duties concerning Convention and Visitors Bureau Director. We are going to close regular session, go into executive session. We will return for further action after we complete our business at 7:46 p.m.
How long will it be?
I'm going to say 38 minutes.
38 minutes?
Whatever he says, double it.
Paris, Texas. He is the HPO and building superintendent, and he was at the 2020, he taught the whole class at 2020, whatever, 5 real places.
Okay.
HPO. He's building coefficient. He's not just an HPO, he is building coefficient.
Amanda, you go back to your shop now?
No, I'm waiting for your answers. Yes. That's right. Go, John.
That's the name I want.
See, and I
Okay.
Sorry.
You don't have your paper.
Here with
I
us.
threw it away or
Got it
thrown
back.
it. Oh, there it is.
Close it back in.
We're going to return to regular session and discuss the remaining issues discussed in executive session.
Do it in the same order.
First, item number 36, that's at 9:03. Section 551074, personnel matters relating to the appointment, evaluation, resignment duties of the city administrator. We're directing continued evaluation by council of the applicants thus far, and continue and to make those selections of who you would prefer to, if any, move forward with. 37, selection consultation with an attorney to seek advice from the attorney on interlocal agreements. Staff will continue working on 391
We need
agreements.
to make a motion to get a vote
On which one?
on both of the last two.
We're just directing staff. We don't have to get a vote on
We
that.
do have to get a vote on it.
I'll make a motion that we adopt a 391 resolution for joining the GRSC Regional Planning Group, Regional Planning Commission.
And then the people.
Oh, and the people as well.
Mhm.
And direct Mayor Joe Bowles, Councilmember George Freeze, and Acting City Administrator Jim Holder as members,
Pending legal
pending legal review,
and signature of the mayor.
and the signature of the mayor.
I'll second that.
All in favor? 5-0 passes. Okay, no, we do not need to vote on the city administrator. Item number 38, section 551074, personnel matters, deliberate appointment, employment, evaluation, reassessment duties, discipline, dismissal, public officer, employee to wit, Convention and Visitors Bureau Director. I open to council for any motions or ideas that you'd have regarding city CVB director.
I'll move to hire Tracy Nagella as a CVB director, altering job description.
Second.
Seconded by Councilmember Mapes. All in favor? 5-0. Tracy, you are director. What that motion meant is we're going to alter, as we've discussed. There are some things in the directorship that maybe don't belong for you, but there's some things that you will have to take on as a director. So we're going to fluidly move that. Council will make some HR, but you are, as of right now, acting director of the CVB.
And if you don't like the job description, we can start over.
So thank you for what you've done. You deserve this. Council was overwhelming, as you saw. And
Thank you, everybody. Thank you.
all right, any other business? Any other ideas? Complaints?
Ms. Carver, you want to talk real briefly, like 30 seconds about this grant that we were talking about?
Okay. He had asked earlier. we
And I
discussed-
forgot to mention it in the council members' reports.
The HPC has applied for a CLG grant for historic downtown to do the preservation plan that hasn't been done since 2008. We're waiting on that. It's, the mayor knows and Councilman Freeze knows, we applied to become part of the First Street Initiative with the State of Texas Historical Commission. They told us we were gonna get a letter telling us that we were approved to be part of it. I got an email saying that I need to be on the Zoom call between 12 and 10 tomorrow for 2 solid hours, so I guess we're part of it. And the other thing is we have a grant for art, and we're looking at doing benches.
Perfect.
And it's the 50 and under.
And George found you time to speak before the end of the meeting. What in the hell's
Thank you.
going on?
Well, I adjourned it and then I'll.
Meeting adjourned at 9:07 PM.
Well, what brought that up, sir, is I asked if you were getting the HPC report, and he said no. So that's why,
Thank you to everybody.
yes. Good night, everybody.
Congratulations.